I've come to realize that the more power you give the government, the more it will take from you. They live off power. They live off controlling you. And they take any opportunity that they can get in order to control you. It doesn't matter how serious the situation is. They will use that in order to try and get control over you. Wake up and think for yourself. Because you're as smart or smarter in many cases than they are. You got to live your own life. Your life is about being an example, allowing God to operate through you with perfect love. And that's how love is created, through others, through human beings. And it's not for the government to control you. As a result of you being locked down and sleeping, evil is grabbing up power. Virginia is reborn. Virginia now, think about it. Virginia. I never imagined that Virginia would become a liberal state. Because even growing up when I wasn't into politics, I remember hearing about Virginia and knowing about it. And when I moved to LA, became more, aware of it. It was a conservative state. And this is following the governor's Easter weekend bill signing. The governor of Virginia, Northam, signed a slew of bills into law on Easter weekend. So you can't go to church. You can't go to work. You can't go out of your house without a mask. But the governor can be busy signing liberal bills into law, godless bills, that will put you under the control of the government. They want to turn Virginia into a liberal state. And lo and behold, they're doing it. And likewise with Texas, too. I know that a lot of people have left California and they have gone to Texas. And they're like, well, we're moving to Texas. Texas is a conservative state. No taxes or something. We'll do well there. I'm like, I suggest you put your feet on solid ground and do the right thing where you are. Don't run. You got to become right and fight for California. We have to vote in real Republican conservatives for California. But a lot of them ran to Texas. And now Texas is quickly becoming a Democrat liberal state. I encourage Christians and young people to get involved with government. You need to start running for office and grow into it. You don't have to start out as the president. You can start with the school board. You can start with city council. There's police commissioners and police chiefs and work your way up. But we got to get Christians involved with government. This idea, and some do believe it, that Christians should not be involved in government, that is a crazy idea, because you live in a world, you live in a country that is controlled by government. And if you let these liberals pass all these laws, run the government, they're going to pass laws that will confine you, control you. It's not logical that you don't run for government, that Christians should not be involved in government. How do you believe stuff like that? So here's where the governor of Virginia, Northam, signed bills with extensive protection for LGBTQ people. Listen and watch.
Northam has signed the Virginia Values Act. It protects the LGBT community in areas like housing and employment. Advocates cheered the move, saying it makes Virginia the first southern state to pass protections this extensive. Opponents say the law infringes on religious freedom of businesses and property owners.
So while you were locked down, while you were sleeping, while you were under control of the government completely, this guy was signing these bills. And now businesses will have to hire these people. If a woman come in dressed in a man's suit with a tie and a fro or whatever, a fro, you're going to have to hire them because of this bill. You no longer have control of your own business now in Virginia. And not just Virginia, it's happening around the country. The bill also relaxes many restrictions on abortion. What does that have to do with anything, right? No more will legislators in Richmond, most of whom are men, be telling women what they should and should not be doing with their bodies, said Governor Northam. So now if you get your wife pregnant or you unfortunately get some girl pregnant out of wedlock and she want to kill your baby, according to this bill, there's nothing you can say or do about it, men. Unfortunately, the Christians are not overcoming the fallen state, and they're allowing these things to happen. Northam signed several measures changing the criminal justice system. Watch this.
Also amended a bill decriminalizing possession of less than an ounce of marijuana. Northam did sign several criminal justice measures, like increasing the grand larceny threshold to $1,000 and permanently ending the practice of suspending driver's licenses for unpaid court fines and costs.
Amazing. Welcome to the democratic world. You're coming out of your little hole from coronavirus. You have worse things to deal with now, especially in Virginia, but not only, because there are other Democratic government who are doing the same thing in other states. Because of this governor, you can steal anything up to $1,000. I was at the gas station last year, I believe, and there was a black woman who was like a druggie. She's on drugs, out of her mind on drugs. And she was just walking to the gas station, store there, the store part, and pick up and steal, walk out. And the worker was like, get out of here, get out of here. And she didn't care, oh, we'll get you. And Virginia, I believe, is like a Christian state, too. My friend Curtis lived there. He's a Christian. He's blown away with what's happening over there. And I have to honestly tell you, it's happening because men are weak. If men were not weak, this would not be happening. And if it was happening, it would be at such a small degree that it would be dealt with quickly. Men, you really need to get out and start a life for yourself. Become an example. Get over your pot and your alcohol and your drugs and your all that stuff that's holding you back. You have a great source within you, but you're supposed to become a living example. The pot is not helping you to do that. That's why they offer you pot and drugs. They put your kids on antidepressant medication, little kids. Slow down your energy, especially with men. The Democrats are trying to use the virus as a way to push for mail-in voting around the country. Excuse me. Mail-in voting. This governor out of Virginia, Northam, repeal the voting ID laws. So in Virginia, just think about it. The presidential election coming up in November. In Virginia, you don't have to show an ID now. So now, in Virginia, Election Day is a holiday. You can vote with no ID. It's a holiday. Holiday. If you take some time away. Oh, yeah. So the folks in Virginia, you can praise the government on holiday. When I become president, the rule going to change back to the good old days. Only people who own land can vote. Uh-huh. If you own land, you can vote. And everybody should own a little piece of land. I'm just saying. This governor said voting is a fundamental right. That's a lie. It's not a fundamental right. And the Democrats, these are Democrats. When he's saying it, it's making it easier for the Democratic voters to come in to help the Democrats take over and control everyone. It's a way for the Democrats to cheat, to get away with it. And they're going to use racism to get the blacks to do it. Because you use the word racism, the blacks, not all, but most, go unconscious. And they'll walk right into the ocean. But they'll throw that word out there, and they have convinced so many, it's so amazing how they've convinced so many young black people that racism, and young black people believe that it's worse. Had that been racism, it wasn't, all right? They think it's worse than what it would have been. And they're acting like it, and they're believing it. And it's holding them back in life. Governor Northam is also dealing with so-called racism.
Northam has also signed a bill into law allowing localities to decide on what to do with Confederate war memorials. The governor says the Confederate monuments tell a particular view of history that does not include everyone. Various groups oppose removing the monuments or altering the statues. This is likely going to reignite the conversation in Richmond around Monument Avenue.
Amazing. So, take down the statues that made the country so great, representatives that made the country so great, the best country on this side of heaven. But take out the law that says you have to show ID in order to vote. If that's not a Democratic pull or desire for control, I don't know what is. This new legislation means banning of racist language from the Virginia Act Assembly. What's racial language? Establish a commission to study slavery in Virginia and the effects of racial and economic discrimination. This is crazy. Insane. It ain't over yet. I got more for you. While you were locked away. So if white people speak up, they'll call white supremacists or neo-Nazis or something like that. But if blacks and others say what they want to say about white people, call them names, falsely accused, whatever, no big deal. So the people of color are protected and can say and do what they want, but not the whites in Virginia and around the country, really. And what do white people say? Oh, the poor blacks. The blacks, they're so nice. This law established a commission to study slavery in Virginia and the effects of racial and economic discrimination. So we all know that the blacks who have families, fathers and mothers in their homes, who are raised in the right way to go, love and treat others the way that they would like to be treated, they're doing very well in Virginia and around the world. But the blacks who are lazy and don't want to do for themselves, want to have an excuse, anyone who has any excuse about life is pathetic, a pathetic person, especially an adult. Have Nick get the phone for me. When I was growing up, blacks did much better financially and dealing with the issues of life than they do today under the Jim Crow laws because the family was there. And blacks believed in right and wrong. They believed in treating people the way they would like to be treated. And they did well. They bought land. They went to school. They became professionals. Those who did not go to school, they became businessmen and women. I believe what Joe and I were talking the other evening about one day about how, maybe yesterday in the studio, how women have been trained to go out, grow up, go out, get jobs, and live their lives, while men have been deliberately kept down while growing up. And they're acting like the women at home. They're looking and judging and complaining and murmuring and just crazy. They create a new bill banning so-called racist language. How are they going to tell you what you can and cannot say? Is this China? And they did this, Virginia, while you were locked down. You're not going to get better in your life until you drop the anger, drop the hate, stop judging your fellow man, stop judging yourself, and live. Take care of yourself. Stay out of your head. Your head set you up to believe crazy stuff. So these laws, taking away Robert E. Lee statue, Stonewall Jackson statues, is not going to help one black. It's just going to make the blacks feel better about being wrong. Then you got their votes if you're a Democrat. This is, I told you, it's happening not only in Virginia, but Michigan, North Carolina, and other places. The Daily Warrior is reporting that police in North Carolina arrest peaceful protesters, declare protesting a non-essential activity. Watch this.
The hospitals are empty. Nobody is sick with COVID. All this COVID deaths are being attributed to COVID that aren't COVID deaths.
Those claims, of course, not at all accurate. But what is real and tangible is a growing frustration with the status quo and rising anxiety about an uncertain future.
I don't feel protected at all. I feel that my rights have been completely removed. If you are concerned about being ill, stay home. Otherwise, go back to work. Get back to your life. This is ridiculous.
Organizers behind the protest, a group called Reopen NC.
If you do not disperse, you will be subject to a physical arrest and taken to Wayne County Jail.
Provoking police to issue several warnings before they finally moved in.
Let's go, let's go.
One woman was arrested.
Amazing. So now you don't have the freedom of protest. No such thing as Corona, what do they call it? Corona non-essential. Did they take that out of the Constitution that now you can't protest? That woman is right about some of the stuff she was saying, especially when there are people dying every day. And some of these states are saying, oh, it's due to Corona. People dying from other reasons too, folks. Everything ain't Corona. They're selling it Corona when it's not Corona. People having heart attacks, cancer, all kind of stuff going on. Breitbart reported that officials in Kentucky documented the license plate numbers of individuals attending church over Easter weekend. So the Christians went to church there in Kentucky. The police went out and took copies, pictures of their driver's license. This is not the American way. And the more you give to them, the more they'll take. And what they want to do in Kentucky is force a 14-day quarantine on the ones who are at church. In Virginia, there's been 6,000 cases of the Chinese virus and 150 people dead, I'm being told. But we don't know, because the government and the liberal media are so dishonest, they don't really tell you what the people are dying from. They want everything to be Corona. Oh, she dead. Why did she die? Corona. Oh, but she's been having blood problems, heart attacks and stuff. Oh, Corona. Wake up, people. Come out of your head. Really. Live in the present so you can see the right way to go. You can treat people right. You can get your life going. Because this is America, and I've been saying for a long time now, a while, that if you don't wake up in America, we're going to have South Africa in America, and it will be hell to pay. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.